to the weekly episode of the Premium Advantage, baby. Woo!
Yeah, baby.
Live episode number 82. Man, how things keep moving.
That's awesome.
Today in our most advanced episode. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. Sound effects also. We're getting there with the sound effects too.
Well played, you seem to. Well played.
Thank
you very much.
Step at a time. Special mentions from the premiumadvantage.com. Are you ready to get your taxes done? Go to the website, set up your appointment, talk to one of our professionals, get your taxes done. Trust in your professionals. The host, me, Roberto. You can search me on social media at PremiumHTX. Mr. Jacinto.
What's up, everybody in podcast land?
At Jacinto in social media.
Cheers.
Today's topics, what we have for you in store today. What about real estate in Houston, Texas? It's one of the biggest markets, I think, in the world, so it's reasonable for folks to talk about. It's a discussion point. The Missy Elliot concert. I don't know if anybody's heard of Missy Elliot. No? Yes? No?
I
Who?
grew up listening to Missy Elliot.
Oh, did you? Okay, so Missy Elliot. Wow, yeah.
I don't really keep up with her anymore.
Oh, I kept up with her over the weekend. Went for my birthday. Wow, she put it down. Some shifts in political environment. Wanted to ask the question about who is Kamala Harris. A little discussion about this new incumbent situation that's happened. We had some information last week. That's completely different now. So it's worth it, finding out what's happening, trying to be on the edge of the information as accurately as possible. Okay, so the feedback from the audience and the guests as they get information is crucial for this process to work. Situations with that glitch. Anybody heard about that glitch?
That's crazy.
That glitch.
Hopefully we won't glitch. Glitch in the Matrix.
You don't know what's gonna happen. But there were issues. I'm not sure if you're still having issues, but we're gonna discuss it because it's still lingering.
Shout out to DJ Glitch in the house.
Glitch. And obviously some other events, as we always do. We keep it going. Next month we have an event coming up. 10th, we'll talk about it. If anybody else has more events, please bring those forward. So we'll talk about it. Now the topic of the episode. Yes, thank you very much, guys, for being here today. The real estate, some information that a lot of folks from everywhere, I think, everywhere in the world will be interested to know what's up with Texas, the markets in Texas. And today, Mr. John Cartee and Miss Nicole Hardcastle. Thank you very much for coming today and being a part of the informational episode, right? From the Ari Realty team. Ari Realty team.
Yes.
That sounds exciting. Okay, but it's also part of a broker, the broker EXP.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. I mean, there's a lot of labels, a lot of information here. I would love to hear the details about the nature of the names, why it's structured this way, what each one represents, and then what solutions you guys bring to the Houston markets. You know, how you guys help the folks in the industry and what you guys think, where you guys are at. I'm assuming you guys are the edge, at the edge of the yes, that's what we're looking for. Yes. Right, because information gets dwindled down to the grapevine and things of that nature. So this is one of the natures of creating that information for folks. Okay, cool. So, what can you guys share with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, love to talk about Air Realty, talk about EXP,
sure.
Kind of where we are in the market, and then just the market itself, and then common questions that we hear every day from clients, from leads, people in open houses, people in coffee shops and around Houston. Like, what is going on in the market? Like, any insight we can provide to kind of answer those general questions, give you some insights on what's going on. And then obviously you'll have our contact information. You can reach out if you have more detailed questions, but we just want to be a resource, answer some questions that we hear all the time, and kind of set the record straight on some misconceptions and make sure everyone understands what's going on out there.
Great, very great. Cinto, anything in particular from you?
Yeah, I was wondering, what are those misconceptions, common misconceptions that people have?
A really common misconception is I can't afford to buy a house. And true, it takes down payment. There's a lot that goes into it. You have to get pre-approval, work with a realtor, find the house. But there are a lot of great down payment assistance programs. There's a lot of government assistance programs out there to help people get into their first home, start building equity, start building your net worth. Owning a house is a great way to triple your net worth in 5 years because of appreciation. Like, houses have a tendency to go up in value. In the past 2 years, houses in Harris County, on average, are worth 5% more than they were 2 years ago. So just by owning real estate, you're paying into your own equity by your mortgage payment. You're not paying a landlord who's just put the money in their pocket. You're going to get that money back on the back end. Plus, the asset you're paying on is gaining in value. So if you can afford to invest in real estate or get your foot into a door for your first home, second home, you really should, because there's so much financial advantage to that. But a lot of people think there are a lot more barriers that really don't exist. So 20 years ago, yeah, you need 20% down payment and you're going to have whatever other circumstances that factor into that. There are a lot of great programs out there, and builders for new construction will often help waive a lot of those upfront costs to get you into the house. And so then you can start building equity and building your net worth just by living under the roof rather than paying a landlord.
Wow.
A lot of those builders are offering upwards like $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to help you get into the house as well.
Well, that's significant.
It's significant.
And that's something that folks I don't think necessarily know, right? You come in there with that misconception, you're not even going to ask these questions. So y'all are providing this information for folks? Is this something, I guess, how can folks get in touch with y'all so they can kind of communicate this information?
And then also more like the entire process. From like, remember, don't forget, like we're two, please. Like we don't know.
Please, tell us like we're five.
Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind breaking it down with regards to start up first homeowner and then move on to somebody that has that process put together and then wants to multiply.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the biggest conceptions and to move into that process too is that like a lot of buyers, if we're just start off on the buyer side, they think they have to go in and pay their realtor, and that's another thing I think that keeps them from wanting to buy, because they're already thinking of like, well, I have to do this down payment and then I have to pay 3 or whatever the percentage is, if they even know the percentages, towards a realtor as well. So stepping into that buyer process, one of the first things we do is sit down and like just kind of walk people through, explain to them how we normally do get paid. We do not make a salary. We get paid off commission, which is normally paid from the process of the sale of the house that they're purchasing.
Yeah.
So we explain that type of stuff to them, the title, how that works, insurance. I know you do insurance as well, so explain to them, parts of owning a home and the things that you need, like home warranty, flood insurance, whether or not that's required for them. So the very first thing is just explaining to them any of the upfront costs, if at all.
Yeah.
And then
What are some examples of some maybe upfront costs? That
Upfront
would be folks can know.
costs.
Okay, well, upfront. That way they know already. Like, hey, here's my 3 to whatever much upfront cost that you mentioned in the episode. So perfect. You're ready to go.
upfront costs normally, whenever you're going in, is going to be your earnest money and your inspection.
Boom. Okay.
Those are going to be
Earnest money and inspection. Have that ready to go. What's an average inspection cost more or less? Because you typically want an inspection.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if you haven't lived there, you can't.
Yes, we always advise you do an inspection. Knowledge is power. This is your opportunity in the contract. So it's, without going too detailed, it's called an option period. So when we submit an offer on your behalf, you submit what's called option money, and you buy an option period from the seller. What that is it's 7, 10, however many days you agree on, where you can back out of the contract for any reason, no penalty, and get your money back. So you're buying that from the seller, like your time to think about it. And during that period, you want to do your inspection. Inspection for a normal size home in Houston, Harris County specifically, is probably gonna be about $500.
Okay. Now keep in mind,
Yeah.
doesn't the average from folks in the industry, somebody may charge more. We did have an inspection professional here making the same recommendation. So everybody's telling you do an inspection.
Yeah, definitely do the inspection. And then your earnest money is usually 1% of the purchase price.
Yeah.
And so that's your
Typically on average.
On average, and that's your kind of assurance to the seller
Yeah.
that you can take our contract seriously, you can take our offer seriously. We're putting some money where our mouth is, so to speak, to get the process started.
Have your earnest money ready? Have your
I used to
inspection
love
money
that
ready?
show, Ernest. You ever watch that show, Ernest?
Yeah, the movie Ernest?
That guy. He's like,
Yeah,
Ernest
Ernest.
P. World. Remember that guy?
The earnest money.
I'll never see Ernest money.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, y'all said that's the person I thought. I'm sorry. I'm the comic relief here, everybody.
Making sure everybody knows.
You
It's
see,
fun.
they
We're
just
still
changed the
having fun.
Hey, Burn. That's Ernest. Remember that guy? Oh, man, that was so much fun. Back in the day. Sorry.
It's still fun. It's still fun information. I'm just saying. It's supposed to save money.
Shout out to Ernest, man. I'm sure he's still doing it out there
I'm
somewhere.
sure he's rocking.
I've been watching his movies lately because they
No
give you
way,
the nostalgia.
really?
They give you nostalgia. That's the whole
Oh,
movie.
I have heard about that. Like parents doing more, nostalgic things, showing their kids
Yeah,
stuff,
they're
like for
doing
the
it
first
too.
time, and being like, "This is stuff that I used to listen to and watch." So that's
Keeping
cool,
it
dude.
alive. Keeping it alive.
That's right.
So you're watching
Nostalgia.
Ernest with your kids, really?
I'm trying to. They're still not like, they're like, boring. I'm like,
Oh
gee,
man, Ernest is awesome.
one step at a time. Yeah, I keep forcing it in there until they're like, is it boring now? Is it boring now?
Now I gotta look it up. I'm gonna look it up. See if Ernest is still alive.
Yeah. Anyway, back to real estate. Information on real estate. Earnest money. But now I'm hoping people will remember earnest money.
Yeah, you should remember earnest money.
I can't forget it ever again.
You'll never forget it.
Right.
But that's when you're ready to put in the offer on the house. In terms of very first steps, like Nicole said, we like to sit down with potential buyers and just answer any questions you have, get a feel for your budget, what you're looking for, and why you're looking for it. Because there's a lot of variety in the Houston market. It's one of the most vibrant housing markets in the country.
Vibrant. That's a good word. Look at that word. Vibrant.
There's so many builders, there's so many styles, architectures, and you've got different areas of Houston that are totally different from one another. Like Midtown is not like Edo, which isn't like the Woodlands, nothing like
You get different
Sugarland.
experiences.
Totally different experiences. And
Third
so-
Ward is on the way up right now. It's you get a lot of really good experiences in Third Ward because of the connectivity, the corners
Great
that
food,
it cuts.
something. Trey, whoa.
Third Ward, baby, let's go.
So there's a lot to. There's more than just here's my budget. Let's find a house with that budget. There's a lot that goes into.
Oh
it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Ernest passed away in 2000, unfortunately.
Rest
Oh,
in
I didn't-
peace, Ernest.
Yeah.
His Christmas movies
I
were
laughed,
so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Jim Varney, rest in
And
peace.
I think he did Halloween movies too. He did everything. All this stuff. That's good. Okay, so earnest money, and we're talking about real estate. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
He's-
So that's, yeah, a lot of the biggest misconceptions are around people think it's too difficult to get started.
Yeah.
Realtors are here to help you get started.
Sure.
Like Nicole said, we don't take money from clients up front.
Yeah.
We get paid when the deal closes,
Yeah.
usually by the seller. So if we're working for you, rarely in Texas with Texas law are you ever paying anything to your realtor out of pocket.
No, and that shows that y'all are going to be pushing 10 times harder because you want to get the sale just as bad as they want to get the house.
Everybody wants to get
Exactly.
this. You want to buy? Who wants to buy? You want to buy? You want to buy? You want to buy?
2 a.m. Let's make it happen. Come on.
That's why everybody wants this fight to happen.
The incentives are very aligned.
I think
Everybody wants it to go through, baby.
another big topic too that we were talking about discussing is the NAR thing.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
So there's the big settlement itself, but you just saying even like, well, we want to be able to get to that closing. But I first also like to say,
Sure.
as a realtor, we're never on like a path to just get you to closing and like that's my money. It's always, and this is actually the best, probably, I guess, easiest way to describe that difference too. Everyone now has this conception that like all the realtors are upset because now we're not going to get paid or something's going to like be misread, I guess, between what's going on with that. The only difference with that is that they're not allowed to put the commission on the MLS. We now just have to call and ask if we're going to get paid. So, but the difference there, we actually had a conversation with some realtors at lunch earlier. There's a big difference between sub-agency and agency, and that's where that whole commission thing comes in, to where buyers are kind of scared of like, how do I pay you? And this is where you want your realtor to be your realtor. Because as a sub-agent, I can show you a house, and if you are interested in it, if you do not sign with me as your agent, which is what now people seem to be afraid to do because of the NAR settlement and all the misinformation, if you don't sign with me to represent you, I can still show that house, but I'm going to be basically any information that the realtor with the seller wants to give me or take from me, I'm allowed to give them. If I'm actually representing you and you're signed with me for, it's kind of like a lawyer to client type relationship or a doctor to client relationship. We're not allowed to tell them anything that would not be a fiduciary duty to you. So we're supposed to be honorable and true. So
Supposed to be.
So no sub-agent is supposed to just be, I do want to make that very clear. It's not like we're getting you to closing because that's how I get paid. It's we're getting you to closing because I want to help you.
Sure.
And you also have to think too, most realtors, I'd like to speak for 99.9, there are bad ones out there, but anyone who takes a job as a realtor, you have to imagine everything we're doing. We're doing gas out of pocket. We're doing all our food out of pocket. Our office is usually our car. Or our office is at home till midnight. Like we're doing all these things until we get paid. Anyone who's doing
and then you're like ready to go. You're like, hey, I need a house. Sure, let's go. What's up? Right.
So, yeah, anyone who's doing that, you really have to think like, if all I cared about money, that I would not be doing this. I would. Most of us are smart enough to go get another job where we get a bi-weekly paycheck like everyone else.
So
it's very much we want to take care of our clients and then it's a do what you love and get paid type of situation.
Sure.
Do what you
Yeah,
love.
and then as long as everybody's informed about the nature of the relationships and everything else, like well, let's go buy some houses,
Yeah.
and let's go sell some houses. Let's go through the market because there is a lot of value there. Just like in agency for insurance, the connectivity and the streamlining and just getting information a little bit more accurate. I think it's it's a good model.
Yeah, and there's a huge component of negotiation in every real estate transaction.
Yeah.
So you want to have a realtor on your side because you need an advocate in that transaction, and that's the fiduciary duty that once you sign with a realtor, we are your representative in the transaction.
Yeah.
We don't just open doors and help you shop for houses. We have access to houses you might not see, but that's just a tiny part of the value of a realtor. The real value is the negotiation. I recently have a client closing on a house, and we got it for $150,000.
1 second.
Less than.
The real value is in the negotiation.
That's the real value.
Dude, we did this whole thing to get the one question. How are you going to negotiate for me? The real value is in negotiation. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Real value.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Hey, give a shout out to speaking of law, I want to give a special shout out to all the law people out there. We have a live studio audience right now. We have some folks studying for the bar right now.
Yeah,
So
good job.
thank y'all
That's
so
awesome.
much. Shout out to y'all for being here, learning how to be professional bloodsuckers. That is amazing. I want to look in that book. It's like you suck on this hard, you get this blood. I'm just kidding.
I was wondering why it's so hard.
It's always a joke for comedians that the lawyers are bloodsuckers. It's just a joke. Sorry. Just kidding.
You want more? When are you performing at the Woodlands?
Oh yeah, so
Tonight.
tonight at the Woodlands, a place called Oiler Studio. I'm headlining. I'm gonna do like an hour, so
Yes.
you're gonna get a whole hour of me. So that's gonna be awesome, man.
We saw you live about a month ago.
Yeah.
Fantastic show. Highly recommend.
Yes.
Anytime this guy's performing, you gotta go see.
Thank you, man. Yeah, so the Brunch Comedy Show. These folks are at a Brunch Comedy Show. That's where we talk to them. So that's the other thing. Like we're trying to network here. We're trying to promote like entrepreneurship. All the people who come to our brunch comedy shows are hopefully entrepreneurs, so we can connect people. That's the whole point. It's not just a comedy show; it's a hilarious comedy show with great comedians. Actually, August 10th is our next one, Brunch Comedy Show number 7. But we're always trying to connect people as well. That's the whole point of this whole thing: the podcast, the comedy show. It's all about entrepreneurship and promoting professionals, man.
In Houston, Texas, and everywhere else. Boop, boop. Anyway, what were we talking about? Connection. Oh, the real value.
We got the slides.
The real value, right? The real
We
value.
tangent a lot, so that's why we got slides to be like, where we at?
Get us back in the yeah.
The real value for the
my fault.
professional. Keep
Professional
going, yeah.
negotiation.
Bam.
So
Yeah. That's
I
good.
had some clients. This is a long story, but hopefully it's helpful. I had some clients last year and found the home they absolutely wanted. They sold their existing home. They were renting temporarily until we found the house they wanted to basically be their last home.
Yeah.
The kids were out
Oh,
of the house. This was going to be the home they were going to settle down in.
That's a big move.
It's a big move
'Cause
right?
you're
You gotta
like,
take that
that's
really
the end.
serious.
Yeah.
It's got to be one
Not a
story.
pressure.
It's gotta have
Not a
one.
pressure.
The kids come back.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dream house, huh?
Yeah, we searched for a while, found exactly what they were looking for.
Nice. Okay.
And it was listed at right around $700,000, and we were able to negotiate down to $600,000.
Yeah.
So we were under contract to buy the house for $600,000. Their oldest son had an accident. He needed some emergency funds to get his hospital bills paid and such, and they gave him those funds. But that took from the down payment funds that set aside for the house.
Wow.
So I went back to the seller and we negotiated the list price, the sale price of the home up to $20,000 because they could put that in their mortgage payment, which was like $100 a month for 30 years.
Yeah.
And the sellers then contributed $20,000 cash up front to the down payment.
Wow.
So it's things like that you
We
might
saw
not
it.
think about. So yes, they paid more for the house than we originally negotiated for, but they didn't have to have that cash at closing. So the seller walked away with the same amount of money, but they were able to give that money up front and take more money on the back end.
Did you have to
which
tug
was
at the
great.
heartstrings or anything, or was this just in dealing with?
It's just
what was
the listing agent was really understanding the situation, and it helps. So in that specific situation, the sellers were happy to see the list price go up, even if it was no more net profit for them, because they put a lot into that house. They'd done a lot into that house. They loved that house.
Yeah.
They thought it was worth more like what they'd originally listed it at
Sure.
and what we negotiated it down to.
Wow.
So that $20K made them feel a lot better, and it was
Yeah.
no change to their financial situation.
And
at
everybody,
closing.
and the interesting
Everybody
thing
won.
is, yeah, and the great interesting thing is that everybody was willing to go through the process of resolving the nature of the situation, which without the agency process, maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
You're on your own? No
You're
way.
right. Correct. So you have to keep, I'm just thinking about the team effort in those processes, you know?
Nailed it, dude.
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in a real estate transaction that we try to never let our clients see because we don't want you. We exist to make your life less stressful, but there's a lot of 4 a.m. and 12 p.m. phone calls going on between two agents and the title rep. The title rep who actually makes to make sure the paperwork is legally correct back to us, back to each other. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And
the insurance agent that sends the document. And if you're having issues with your insurance agent not giving you that quote because it's closing and you can't, and then what happened? Go to thepremiumadvantage.com, set up a little appointment, get a little dates, just go there. That's the solution. I'm just saying.
Having a local insurance agent is huge, especially in Texas, because there's so many weather factors in Houston insurance. There's different floodplains from the FEMA maps. Like there's so many factors that go into insurance. And if you just use a national insurance broker that's not local, they can miss so much of that. So having someone that's local to the area that knows the different geographies, the weather, that's huge.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. So what else are we going to talk about with the weather? We were talking about weather insurance and how it relates to the market. Wow, look at y'all.
Transition. Tying it all together.
That's right, because the weather affects both industries, is my perception. Real estate and insurance. In insurance, we talked about moratoriums. They shut down, you know, it also fluctuates the pricing when there's high claims and things of that nature. And so I'm curious about the relationship on what happens in the real estate markets, you know, when closing dates come and then hurricanes are announced and it's like, ugh. What do you guys go through? What are some solutions that you guys have had to implement or some
We're all about solutions here.
Right. And experiences where it's like, hey, this is what happened. I want to do this for you or rather this. Or, you know, I'm just saying.
I think it can just make the situation harder on everybody.
Sure.
But weather doesn't necessarily have a, like, this is going to be put at a complete stop, but it can just make things more difficult. We had a closing recently, too, where, like, the title office themselves, like, their office got flooded, but they literally still walked in there and did the closing, and then they had to combat not having internet for a while as well, so
like you said, they live in their car
sometimes
they have to, right, to make a deal.
Well, the realtors will be in their car making deals.
Oh,
Title
so
offices
the title
have their
office is different.
Yeah.
So title has to have the secure Wi-Fi, secure everything, so it's all where the money goes out of escrow. So the title company lost power from Beryl. They were flooded from Beryl. So we pushed the closing back, went in the next day. Man. It was still flooded. So we signed the paperwork in their lobby because it was drier.
Drier, like they said.
They had to go to a mortgage office nearby that had secure Wi-Fi to actually process the paperwork. And then the buyer was from out of state on that transaction and couldn't find a hotel in Cartee because everyone who didn't have power in Cartee was getting a hotel room. So they had to stay in San Antonio, and we had to get a mobile notary to sign their documents in San Antonio.
Dude, what a crazy headache.
Closed on schedule.
You got it done.
The buyers got the house.
On schedule?
Got the money.
Wow.
We always make it a 24-hour.
What is that? Oh, that's that's the Iron Realty team, baby. He's pushing it through.
We got a schedule. And that's one of the things that I love that we can provide for clients in all transactions is the schedule. Because the deadlines in a real estate transaction are sporadic in terms of if you just looked at them on your calendar, I don't have to worry about that till this or that or that. But if you miss a deadline, the whole deal is done. You breach contract. Yeah. So having an agent who
it's like constant behavior, like when they won option period, the inspection period. That's one of the things that we discussed about the option period and the inspection is, be ready with your inspector. Like when you make the offer, let him know I'm making an offer so that day one of the option period, he's at the house looking at the inspection.
I have 3 inspectors like on standby.
Yeah.
Like
it's to be ready, right? Because all of those little things, if the inspection comes in the 9th day, you have very little time to go back and forth on that negotiation.
Is it hard to get good inspectors, or are they busy right now? Why do you need 3 on call?
Because you don't know.
My experience from doing residential, if you put in the offer, let's say we're about to put an offer in on a house tomorrow, and maybe my clients have been like taking a certain amount of time, like, oh, I don't know, which is fine. A lot of people like to think about it. They text me at like 6 p.m. Okay, let's do the offer. We want to do it now. Well, now I have to text 2 or 3 of my inspectors. Are you going to be available on Monday when it's a Sunday now, right? So like, are you going to be available tomorrow by what time if we put this offer in and they respond to us? Because then the other factor you have to put in is like when that seller is going to respond and say yes. I don't know either. So if I have 3 people on standby kind of waiting, at least I know one of them might be available within that time frame. When the sellers say, okay, we accept in a day or in 6 hours or in 2 days.
Yeah, sure.
One of those guys is going to be free closer than the end of the week.
Yeah, and that's just taking care of your client's money because they're buying an option period of 7 to 10 days for that seller.
Yeah.
And if you can't get your inspector out there for 6 days,
ooh, Mel, you're in trouble. You should know that. If somehow you're in this position where your realtor and the inspector and it's like day 7 and the inspection hasn't been done and they're telling you everything is fine, you're cutting it really close to the wire. Everything may be fine. Yeah, but you're cutting it really close to the wire in that sense.
Yeah, because the client's putting that money there.
You want it to be quick. You want it to be quick.
That
That process is
to
quick.
negotiate and go back and forth, review the inspection, do what needs to be done. So any day that passes from the signing and execution of the contract when the option period starts until that inspection happens, it's wasted time.
Sure.
So we want that inspection to happen as soon as possible, so we can get the inspection report as soon as possible. We can go back and forth with the sellers. Hey, like they called out this, they called out that. Will you repair that? Oh, you don't want to repair that? We want to reduce the price by this much so we can repair that after closing, and then that gives you all the time to come to us a negotiation.
That's a lot. And then if somebody delays, and then if it's a big situation where it's like, ooh, this situation elongates, you know.
You also
Totally
have to
chess,
keep in mind
not
too, with
checkers.
like contractors, even if your inspector is able to get out there really quick. Like I've had contractors to go look out at a roof, come out. Luckily, we had a 14-day inspection period because the house looked old. I already knew. I was like, we're going to need time to send people out here. But the roof guy was like, I'm going to come out there, and he didn't show up. And I had to get somebody else. And we were on like day 10.
Just no call, no show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't show
I
up.
know, man. People do that.
Contractors all the time.
People do that.
So,
Y'all not want money?
Exactly.
understand.
But now he's never going to get a call back. So
That's
easy.
exactly my point. You're all
Exactly.
you're right.
So yeah, but it was
Don't
like
get
the
blacklisted.
10th or 11th day of our 14-day option period whenever
Ooh.
the roof guy got out there. And then I still had to get someone, he was like, this is going to have to be fixed. This is going to have to be fixed.
Oh,
And you
so-
might be able to pass appraisal. So I was like,
Okay.
okay. So we still had to get someone to go out and fix like parts of the roof after me and the listing agent
Oh,
agreed.
hey, we're gonna pull this through. We're gonna
So
make
we
this
had to
deal
get
go
someone
through.
to go patch it, which they agreed to do during the option period, which is not always standard, by the way. This is not like a
Pushing it through, just pushing it through,
yeah,
just
make
pushing
it
it through.
happen. So someone went and did some like
Making it
work on
happen.
holes and parts of the roof, and the buyers were cool with that.
Wow.
So luckily the appraisal came through with that too, because that was an FHA. So that's the other thing too, is like you want to make sure your realtor really knows, like when you're walking houses, there's certain types of loans you'll be able to get,
Sure.
depending
Right.
on
Why we're wasting
what
time in this
condition the
house is
house
never
is.
gonna get this type of loan.
Yeah,
What kind
so
of situation?
VA, FHA, they're very, very strict. So it's like a new build or a newer home or a home that's been remodeled, and you can see while you're walking around before you even get to inspection, this should probably be okay. It might need a little work.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be walking a house where like we're gonna remodel this, we're gonna remodel this, we're gonna remodel this, like you look in the attic and you're like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Like you're conventional or cash.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's just make sure too, like your realtor, like a lot of experience in the certain area of like what type of home you want. Like if you want a new build, new construction home, like he's absolutely amazing. I know new build and construction as well, but like I'm catching up to him.
Do not disturb.
I know.
But
It is
yeah.
what it is.
So
It
different
goes through
loans,
anyway.
different loans for different types of houses. You need dependent on what you want to do. That's another reason to have more realtors that have contractors on deck, because again, people don't show up, and if you can't get a contractor out in time to look and even just to give you a quote, if your kitchen remodel is going to cost you $30,000 instead of $10,000, you don't want to buy that house. I mean, you might want to still buy it. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
it depends. Yeah,
at least
yeah,
now you
yeah,
know.
yeah. At
So,
least now you know.
yeah, there's
That's
so many parts and pieces, and then I'll end on this so it's not taking too much time.
right.
But he
It's
said
good info.
something earlier that we discuss as realtors in our groups and stuff so much, because it can be so aggravating sometimes, because it's like, I think the market and things that we hear from people quite often, and you have to practice not getting defensive, because people kind of attack us in a way and say like, well, the market's this price, yeah, because of you and y'all doing this and y'all are raising the prices. First of all, we have no control over the pricing of house. We have no control over how much you pay for the house. We have no control over people coming from different states and out cash bidding.
Oh, is that? Oh,
And
that's.
raising
Oh, is that
prices.
what? It does
We have
happen.
no control over that. So
Pay
that's
cash.
Yeah, that's
Ow.
one
And
segment
that's
of it.
happening a lot, with regards to like, oh, you gotta be quick with regards to your offers.
Exactly.
You like it, you gotta get on that because you gotta understand that you ain't the only one after the market.
Yeah.
Text you saw today and liked and are gonna go home and think about it.
Yeah.
Someone saw it yesterday and went home
Buy
and thinking
today.
about it.
Yeah,
Buy it
yeah,
today.
yeah.
But that's the one portion of it. And then the second portion, which he touched on, but to make it very clear, is actually one of our instructors, we have to take regularly updated classes.
Okay,
Or we
gotcha.
cannot hold our license.
Okay.
He said this very well yesterday. He said, I forget the real estate. I have the real estate comparison for you, but what Judge Judy is to law is selling sunset to real estate.
Okay.
So everybody thinks real estate is this. We all like to dress nice, but we're
Sure.
in sales. Like that's just part of the way that psychology works for people.
Mm-hmm.
They're more likely going to work with you if you dress well and you
Sure.
take care of yourself. Like that's a very simple thing. And then second, and nobody wants to look bad when they go to work. So anyways, but selling sunset just gives people these ideas that we all just buy flamboyant stuff. We all got millions of dollars. We just ride around in our cars,
Yeah.
go to brunch, just talk and hang out all day. Like, because they do see on our social media we have events, but again, that's sales. Like, that is
Thinking extended.
going to brunch with our realtor
St. Joe's
fringe
guy.
probably happens like once every 3 months. If
The next
that.
time, August 10th, the brunch comedy
That's
show.
Exactly.
The
That's where we're
brunch
gonna go.
comedy show.
But they do not
That's
see all
the
the
brunch.
background.
The next one. Oh, look at that. Look at that transition. Wow.
Transitioning well today.
That's a great transition. That's my point though.
I got you.
We try to take care of so much load
Sure.
for our clients that I think it's given people a
You make it look easy.
misconception.
You're making it look
Yeah.
easy. I got the same problem.
You're like,
I know, but you didn't see the background of the whole setup.
There's a lot going on behind the
There's
scenes.
a lot going on.
It's like kids and
We're
Steph
all
Curry,
working hard.
right?
We're all working hard.
Kids nowadays, they go down and chunk it from half court and have no idea that Steph Curry is in there every single day chunking it from half court to be able to shoot from half court.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
They just
true.
think you just got to go out there and do it. No, it takes hard work, man, behind the scenes.
When I was in high school, I did an official sports visit at Wake Forest University.
Okay.
This will age me, but Tim Duncan was about to go into the NFL draft. And we got there early, we met with the coaches, and they were walking us through the facilities, right? So we're walking through the
That's so
basketball gym.
cool, dude.
And there was this one guy, the gym was dark, there was just like the safety lights on, we were cutting through, and there was one guy out there shooting free throws. And the assistant coach of the golf team was like, see that guy out down there? That's Tim Duncan. Wow, that's Tim Duncan, he's gonna go high in the NBA draft, that's so cool. We did our brunch with the coaches, we toured the golf facility, we met with the academic advisors, they were walking us back to the gym at least 5 hours later, and there was one dude in there,
Still there.
shooting free throws, his name was
Wow.
Tim Duncan, like, the people who put in the work make it look easy because they put in the work.
Oh,
And,
that is
like,
such a
it's-
great example.
I'll never forget seeing Tim Duncan for 6 hours just free throws by himself.
Wow.
No music, no cameras, no nothing. Just like that's what goes on behind the scenes in
Mm.
insurance and real estate,
Yeah.
in every industry. Like,
Absolutely.
the people who are great put in the hours that you'll never see, but we make it easy for you because of that. So.
Beautiful.
Oh, awesome.
Love that.
What else do you guys want to bring together? Because we have the other topics in line, but I think we went through so much information. I'm still digesting it. You know what I mean? But it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. Earnest money.
It can be a lot.
Inspection.
Yeah.
Got it. Period.
So it's a lot. We try to make every experience as personal as possible. So
Yeah.
the best thing to do if people have follow-up questions, something we said, trigger something you have questions, is to reach out to us.
One final question away.
Yeah.
So folks don't have that in mind and proceed. What is an average, more or less, time period between the time that you're like, gonna look at houses and I'm walking into a house that you're gonna be by the time you make the offer, this time period, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, everybody's different. What do you think?
A
Everybody's
lot
different.
of people are different.
Yeah.
We've had clients all over the board.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's everything's a little bit personal. It depends on the circumstances, how urgent your
Circumstances and
searches are,
urgency.
how
Oh,
picky
okay.
you are.
Yeah. Look at
What
that. The
you're
pickier you are, it's gonna take you longer.
It's gonna take you longer.
What I'm hearing.
Yeah. And
Makes sense.
yeah, there's just different factors. But once we put in an offer, then
Yeah.
it really depends on what type of financing you're doing. So
I
if you're
see.
paying cash, we can close you in 10 days.
Oh, wow.
If
Okay,
you're
gotcha.
doing a
Cash,
conventional,
10 days. Bam. Okay,
Yeah.
so minimum 10 days, typically speaking, is the cash. So that way you can keep that in mind is, shoot, if I'm on a 30 days, I got the cash money, it gives me 20 days to shop around and look around.
Yeah.
Like, okay, then keep that in mind as your time period, so that way it's out there.
Now, where do I
That
get
way
the
it's out there.
cash?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we all want to know, right?
Yeah, conventional and FHA mortgages are going to be in the 30 to 45 day range.
There you go.
So you put in the offer and it's accepted.
Yeah.
For the paperwork or conventional, it's going to be more on the 30-day side
Yeah.
of that. FHA, because it's a government insured loan,
Yeah.
there's a lot more that goes into it.
Mhm.
That's going to be more close to the 45-day range.
Yeah.
Um,
Gotcha. This way, folks with leases that expire can time themselves more appropriately as opposed to like, my lease expires in 7 days. I need to get into my house.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sir, ma'am,
You're
sir.
better off if you're in a lease. Start searching sooner rather than later.
6 months.
6 months,
6 months.
bam.
6
Yeah.
months.
That's what I
6
needed.
months.
Okay.
Hey,
And
6
something-
months ahead of time, start doing research and contacting to find out if you're gonna be able to.
And if you're
Gotcha.
working with Air Realty
6 months.
and we find you your perfect home, it fits your budget, everything lines up for you to buy that house, except you're still in your lease. So there's less than 6 months left on that lease. We can help you buy your way out of that lease, so you can move into that home on the schedule that
Nice.
so you're not just watching your dream home get
Yes.
sold to someone else.
Well, that's intriguing. That's intriguing. There's a lot of value with regards, a little bit more value with regards to the realtor relationship. Cool. All right. Anything else? Next. Yes.
I gotta give you a shout. Oh, and with regard to real estate?
Yeah. Right. Correct.
Oh no, moving on.
Hey, you guys good?
Now we're good.
Excellent.
Appreciate
Cool.
you guys.
Next up, thank you guys for coming. And now the rest of the topics are really just to keep us topical and things that are happening that are also affecting people. You know what I'm saying? And so, for example, Missy Elliot. Missy Elliot. I don't know if you guys we talked about. I went to her concert. It was my birthday. We
Happy
got invited.
birthday.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
I was inspired. Really, this whole time we just got the clap.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
I forgot.
I was inspired. Busta Rhymes performed. It was unreal, like an unreal performance. Like I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this with my eyes.
He's also lean now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
He was-
I think he did the Ozempic route.
Is
but
that, he did the Ozempic. I'm a little like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how to think about
lean
that.
now.
All right,
It looks
okay.
like a totally different
He was wearing this like 50 to 100 pound like spacesuit through like half of the performance.
That's cool.
So it's hard, right? Like I'm getting tired and I'm wearing like normal clothing and I'm just trying to move around to what he's just singing, right?
Yeah.
And then he's on stage and then all of a sudden he
He
just
raps so fast.
and on tune. Like I'm thinking you're gonna lose the beat and kind of like catch it. Like
Busta.
not
That's amazing.
not one little skipping beat about his breath and straight through. And then he took the suit off, and after that, I was like, I gotta go back to the gym. I gotta work out. This guy, oh, he's 53. I was asking, how old is the guy up there? 53?
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
I gotta step it up.
What kind of spacesuit? Like old school, like vintage, with like the.
It didn't have the top. It just had like I would kind of like Lightyear spacesuit, but without the wings. So it was like a big rocket with the
like,
neck all the way up. Yeah. It was
Ooh.
I feel the
Did it light up and
difference.
stuff?
no, they didn't let up. It was great. Everything was
If
lit
he
up.
did that.
But the whole setup was like it's just
Yeah.
intense, right? Because he was carrying the whole thing.
Again,
Yes, what is it?
your Google. I want to see the Busta Rhymes album.
Oh yeah, I got it. And Missy also is lean.
Amazing!
She's
The
also
end was
lean.
amazing. She performed. She did a performance like dancing in the rain. I'm like, I'm tired, exhausted, and these guys are just.
I feel
popping
like
in it.
that's so solid though, because
awesome.
even whenever I was younger, like it was always the music videos were always the cool ones.
Right.
with
Yes.
the rain.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Hers with Sierra,
Yeah.
Only You Can Make Me Feel.
Sierra also performed. Also amazing.
Oh, it's Sierra. That's
Yes.
right.
3 of them. I'm telling you, happy birthday to
That's
me.
amazing,
birthday to you,
dude.
yeah. I met Sierra 7 years ago.
Oh, good job.
She and her husband Russell Wilson were at Nike.
Oh, okay.
Because he is a quarterback for then the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he was on campus at Nike, and I used to work a corporate job for Nike.
Oh, no kidding.
So I was in the employee store buying some shoes. I don't know what I was doing, but the security group walked in, and then Russell Wilson and Sierra walked in pushing a baby stroller with their youngest in it. And I got to meet Russell and Sierra, and they were just the nicest people. Like if it hadn't been for the security all around them, you would have never known they were celebrities. They were just super friendly, not in a hurry. Took time to talk to myself and the other people I was with. Just really cool people. So
What
it was
was
great.
more
She's
funny?
still performing.
Yeah.
What was more funny is he told me that story. He's like, "Oh, I met Russell, whoever
Yeah,
who it is,"
yeah.
and then I was like, and he's like, his wife Sierra. I'm like, Sierra? You met Sierra? I've met celebrities too, though, but like Sierra's like, I was like, what?
Like, yeah,
She was
you
like
know,
my
Russell
first
Wilson's
girl
wife.
His Russell, okay, I've seen him before. Yeah, he's cool. You like Sierra? I was like, I'm not Fergie.
Oh, really? Look at y'all. Oh,
Yeah.
Starstruck. I like it.
I had drinks with Fergie and with G-Eazy.
Wow. Everybody, I mean, these figures, you know, you see them all the time, but when you meet them in person, it's just a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see who's really human and
Yeah.
who's letting go to their head.
Yeah, I've never been to one of their concerts, so I'm like, whoa, I was impressed. You know?
Since we're on celebrities and he's talking about who's really human and who's not very nice, I will say this to the day I die.
Oh my God,
He already
Tito,
knows.
you're gonna talk. She already talking back about you.
I met him in person and I've worked.
Oh my goodness.
Guy Fieri, he's a complete.
No.
He's. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on your show.
I can see
He's a
that.
jerk. He's not nice. He's
Sure.
fake.
I got you. Oh, interesting. Well,
G-Eazy, super cool. Fergie, super cool. Guy
Sierra,
Fieri,
super cool.
not so cool.
Sierra apparently
Not so
super
cool.
cool. I'm jealous of that.
But that white guy, not cool. Not cool, you know.
G-Eazy's a white guy.
Sure, let it out, let it out. Sure. One more thing. The premium advantage. Let it out. Let it out.
Speaking truth.
Speaking the truth.
All right, and then also the switcheroo, the involvement with regards to the politicians and politics itself and the greatest nation on earth. Kamala Harris. I didn't know anything about her until last week.
Is it Kamala?
Dude, I got into an argument with my wife about it. I was like, I thought it was Kamala. She's like,
Kamala.
Kamala. She's
Kamala.
like, oh my God. It's Kamala because that's what my wife said. So here you go.
There's
Harris.
less of an ah
So
and more of
Carla-
an ah.
And then her last name is Harris. And I'm like, I didn't hear Harris County, so that's good. She's Kamala, she's Harris. I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
What's up? What do you guys know about her? Anything in particular? You guys have thoughts? And she's in because last week you said it was the other guy,
Newsom.
Newsom. We were like Newsom, and then I was like, oh.
Well, we knew it was going to happen that Biden was going to buy out. We called that last week. But
Yeah, we
we
did,
weren't
yeah.
sure necessarily who it was going to be. Yeah, who the switcheroo was going to be.
Switcheroo.
Yeah, hold it.
I mean, but it's. I guess it's more evident that she's the vice president, and she has, so it makes more sense. What are
You're
you
talking
guys
about
heard?
though, like her just being able to take his funding.
Okay.
That's not okay.
They're saying that that's not okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a big game. It's complicated. What's okay these days? It's politics. I mean, and when circumstances are the way that they are, which is reality, it's like who knows what's. I just hope everybody's okay. I'm taking the time to educate myself so that I know, because my perception is that this does involve the tax industry, the tax world.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, wait, this kind of affects me. It was going in one way, but now it's a switch. And then how could this affect the tax situation?
All you have to do is watch The Simpsons, and you'll know.
Oh,
Right.
Sure, yeah, they'll call it.
All of it
All
is
of it.
crazy.
I just think we're
Living in a matrix.
with all
Yeah.
in general in politics, and especially now, just with our current climate and with the switcheroo, as you call
I
it. Just find out what the people actually stand for and what they voted for. I think the divisiveness in American politics comes from people who don't take time to do research on the actual issues, and they just form
Sure.
opinion based off
Sure.
the face they see. They
Sure.
see a face that's like them or
Sure.
not like them, and they like it or they don't like it. But
Yeah, I don't like those earrings. I'm not voting for her.
yeah, so if we can have substantive okay, you like that politician on the right or left? Okay, why? What
Why?
do they say that you actually agree with? And if you can't answer that question and have a dialogue on
Again,
that, then you really need to educate yourself.
You gotta
And
go
if you
read, you gotta
can,
go
then
read.
hey, we're allowed to have agree to disagree. We can like totally different politicians, but I think that the whole temperature of the debates and the election would come down to a reasonable level if
Yeah.
we talked about the actual issues instead of
Yeah.
personalities.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
excited to learn
personalities.
more about what she's voted for in the past and what
Yeah,
her views
watch
are.
the board. Project. I mentioned projects in my Facebook. Hey, what projects and things of that nature? And they were like, "Oh, do research." And I'm like, "I got a video." I looked at the videos. Oh, let's do the video. I mean, but
I think too, which on what you're saying too, like you're trying to get more educated.
Yeah,
I
I'm trying
got
to.
like
We got like 100 days here.
I got to a position like
to talk.
in the last year where I was very much kind of just like I don't want anything to do with politics because if you watch too much of it, like it gets
Yeah.
shoved in your face.
It's-
It makes
yeah.
you anxiety.
Yes, it
It's like
does.
the world's gonna end, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
the hyperbelly.
terrible.
Yeah, they
So,
keep it
like,
pumped up. Yeah.
For a while, I've kind of pushed myself out, and then even recently, like the more I've been seeing stuff, and we've kind of watched some of the debates, and then with Biden being pushed out to now her, some of the videos and stuff, like people are posting, they're good, some good and bad or whatever.
Sure.
I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then we watched one. No, we were watching the news at my parents' house. Somebody was talking about like all the different stuff that she's done, and they actually gave one that was actually pretty informative, not just like
Sure.
people are going to make fun of either side.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That
but
doesn't
the
matter.
video was actually fairly informative, and just some of the stuff that she was talking about, it's now moved me to a point now where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be 100% not involved.
Sure.
Because based on like even to like what he said, like if you're not paying attention
That's
and you're
right.
not listening to what these people
You can't
are
be complaining
saying,
later.
some of the stuff she's saying, I don't want to get too
Sure,
political
sure,
and one-sided,
sure.
but it's like the things that she'd be taking away and the way that she'd be okay with people living and like it's like some of that stuff I'm like, that really sounds not okay. I don't want to get too deep into it, but
Sure. I mean,
I'm
there's
moving more towards like I would like. I do think it's more important to be more educated instead of just
More
like, oh,
educated.
that's a woman, I should vote for her. Like,
sure.
no.
In every direction, I think we all have at least now enough information where we're like, hey, dude, like, hey, what's going on? And then one of the reasons for the show is to inform more people. And then, hey, what's up? Because in either situation, it's gonna affect your taxes. So it's like, so I'm always thinking about it. You know, it's like, oh, well, this could happen, or this could happen. They're gonna increase this, they're gonna increase that, and things are gonna change, and we gotta be updated.
Change is inevitable.
Inevitable.
But be educated and know kind of what change you're standing for, not just the personality, because it's they're not TikTok celebrities. Like they're actually people who can make decisions.
Sure. Yeah. I know.
Our
That's
lives in
for
really
sure.
meaningful
For
ways.
sure. For sure.
Know why you support the people you support.
Yeah.
If you and after that, we just agree to disagree. But I just think everyone needs to be educated.
You hit it on the head. The frustrating part for me is that it's changed what we've learned in school. We teach all our kids. We're forced to take government. Remember that? And politics in school. And we teach these kids to agree to disagree. You just said it. Agree to disagree. If this person doesn't believe that, it's okay. Let's go ahead and move forward. Let's do it as the majority. Let's do it the political way. But then you see the adults and they're screaming and cursing at each other. Literally, you got people screaming like. Have you seen the parliament in England, the way that they do things?
Yeah.
Or like in Asia where they literally fist fight?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of their politics. It feels like we're like going that way.
Oh really?
Like we're like.
Are you telling me I gotta start writing? Oh God! I
Everybody, hey, Busta Rhymes got fit. Elliot got fit.
Oh my God!
Megan Thee Stallion got fit. Hey, politicians, y'all better get on it, man. We got to start boxing up in there, man. To make your point.
At least
You
you're
know?
informed. You know
You
where it's
wanna vote
going.
for this? Bam! That's how we're gonna do it. No, but why is it, seriously though, why is it that when you hear something from the other side, immediately you're like, nope, that's wrong, that guy's a jerk, I don't want to listen to it. No, that person was voted by their state or their district, and that person might be educated, that's a whole different story, but they're an educated person, and you're your colleague. Y'all need to agree to disagree. Hey, Kobe and Shaq did it, man.
Yeah.
One of the factors that we discussed in the internal community, like with the people that I engage with, is rotation. Rotation between folks going into Congress and things like that. Like, there's not enough rotation.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, no, exactly. Like, get in there. How about you? Like,
Term limits.
You're right. Term limits, right? So that is over, so that it's not the same situation.
And expectations.
And expectations.
Hey, if I'm at a job and I don't have my expectations, guess what? See ya.
Yeah, there are only two jobs in the world that you can be terrible at, universally hated, and never lose your job.
Weatherman.
Politician and NFL referee.
Weatherman.
Weatherman.
Weather person.
Yeah. Anywho,
Meteorologist.
Meteorologist.
It's not about getting informed. Being informed.
Yeah, meteorologists can just go
Do
there
your research. Find
live
out.
and then have
If you
the
have
job
some
tomorrow.
feedback with regards to this, let us know. We'll post it out.
Yeah.
And one of the last things that we had in there was the glitch. The glitch. We had travel issues with the glitch. Anybody had issues with the glitch? I had a couple, but not really. We were okay with that. What about y'all? Anything with you?
I have a personal story of my client.
Yeah.
So she was telling me that the news is underreporting it. What happened as far as the people being stuck in the airport. So she was at the Atlanta airport, and she said that it was like dead bodies everywhere. She said you couldn't even walk because everybody was just laid out with their suitcases and everything. And the whole place smelled like hell, like just the restrooms were just overfilled. I don't want to get detailed into that. Like no food, restrooms horrible. You had to wait in line to talk to an agent for 5-6 hours to be told your flight is canceled. Like it was. So my client is in line. She's waiting in line for, I forgot what else she's waiting on. Oh, for the rental car, or to talk to the rental car. And she's seeing people literally walk off the job, y'all. Like the airline people.
Oh wow!
Walking off the job.
Like,
they're
hey,
just
I'm
like,
done. Too much.
And so now
Too much chaos. I can't handle. I'm not gonna pay for chaos.
Dude, so now it's only managers back there trying to run.
Yeah.
And she's like, so as a person's walking out, she's like, I grabbed someone, because they're wearing the TSA stuff or whatever. It's like, hey, what's going on? She goes, what's going on? She's like, hey, look, I'll be real with you. I'm leaving. It's like, if I were you, I would just walk out of here and go find a rental car place down the street because you're going to be here for a day at least. So my client did that.
Yeah.
She got her suitcase,
I'm
walked
not
down
gonna
for
walk in that
blocks,
mess.
rented a car, and
Yeah.
drove to Houston
Gotcha.
from
I'm
Atlanta.
out of here. I'm not gonna go through this.
Dude, it was a lot
Yeah,
worse than we
so-
saw, man.
We flew pretty recently, and so that was terrible.
Yeah.
But
No good. Yeah, I think I have a deal that's going through right now for real estate.
Yeah.
And the title company lost it
Oh,
2 days.
you got
because
glitched. You got
they
glitched.
So
Yeah.
to make sure
Got
their
glitched.
system was secure and that there weren't going to be any issues with obviously wire transfers and such, they were down for a day because of the glitch, and they took an extra day to be precaution. Which, hey, kudos to them. But
Yeah.
still, it's little implications of things like restaurants that were tied to Microsoft that couldn't process checks. Airline, obviously the most visible one, but it was a big deal. It's
And
amazing
my
how
gym, the
connected
group
we
X
are.
schedule was gone. I'm like, I don't know which class to take.
Where's Zumba? I'm like, I don't know.
No, seriously, it had real world implications, man. We need to be prepared for all of
Yeah.
these things.
Prepare for it in case it happens again.
Why was it only one? Was it CrowdStrike? Why would we only have one company doing that? We need to have. What happened to McAfee?
Complaint bots.
They don't do firewalls anymore.
Like they come with a computer, but just
Yeah, but my point is, there's multiple companies.
Sure.
We need to have everybody in this game
Yeah.
because like all this stuff is eyes to hackers in the rest of the world. Like, hey, we can get into the systems. We can get these
I
systems.
know.
We can
We need
shoot
to
the
be
president.
consistent.
Like there's all these things that people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
seeing in foreign
Yeah,
countries.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, this thing's easy. Kind of like what y'all are talking about earlier about like people see y'all making these things happen. They're like, oh, really easy. I can do that. I can make. Yeah, no, they don't know how much work y'all had to go
Yeah.
into to get that done.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so that's the thing. We need to have a stronger infrastructure all the way around because this is what people are seeing. They just see what we glorify.
100%.
All right, cool. And a special invitation for August 10th, as we mentioned before, Brunch Comedy Show number
Brunch Comedy
7.
Show number 7. I have just confirmed all of the comedians. I'm super excited for this one. Jude Alexander is 12 years
Oh,
old.
wow. Okay.
12 years old. 12-year-old comedian here in Houston. He's killing the game. I'm just happy that I was finally able to get his dad to get this book because this kid, I'm telling you, is the future. A 12-year-old who's hilarious. Not just up there like trying. He's like for real. So Jude Alexander, then we got Carlos Garza, Josh, I can't say his last name. It's a really long Greek name. My boy Josh, he's my homie. So Mike Ryan, Mike Soto, and Melissa Williams. So this could be an amazing comedy show on August the 10th. This could be a brunch comedy show at 3 p.m., 3 to 5 p.m. It's a true brunch comedy show. We're going to have brunch food and bring the kids because this can be a Bad Astronaut. So shout out to Bad Astronaut, superfunkyfresh.com for making this show happen.
Cool. Special mentions from the premium advantage. Keep in mind, the moratoriums are lifted. You need some help with your insurance. Let us know. We'll help you out. This is the end of our presentation.
I got one more thing.
What you got?
Shout out to the Houston Astros.
Go.
We
Oh, yeah.
started in last place, and guess where we are now? First place. So, shout out to all the haters out there who thought we were going to tank this year. We're back. Just like I said, I put money on the Astros to win the World Series.
Oh,
Doing it.
Nice.
All right, so we got
Nice.
Verlander coming back soon. Oh my God.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, look at this updates.
Kyle
Sports
Tucker.
update from the
Kyle
premium
Tucker hit a
advantage.
ball
Yes.
on his shin, and he's been out for 2 months. And so Kyle Tucker's about to be back. Justin Verlander's gonna be back. Luis Garcia's gonna be back. We just got our catcher Victor Caratini back. On his first game back, guess what he does? Home run. So, anyways, I'm excited for the Astros.
Bam! Your Astro summary, baby, for the week. See you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, no.
struggling.
Yeah.
Awesome.